Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So friends, in this video we will dive deep into the spiritual aspect of your chart and the relationship which you have in this lifetime. I mean to say friends, I couldn't tell you how many times when people book their reading with me, they ask this question, especially those people who have their moon in the water signs, which actually makes them very emotional, compassionate, imaginative, and with a combination that their trine houses are strengthened. They are very religious, they are very spiritual, and somehow they have reached that advanced level in their soul evolution that they start asking their or questioning their existence, their life purpose, and also the contribution of the people in their life. Like, is it a case that my husband was my teacher in my past lifetime? Because they can see that there is an exchange between their 7th house and the 9th house, just because they have been troubled a lot by their siblings, because they have 6th house or 6th house lord sitting in the 3rd house, 11th house, or there is an exchange between these houses. So I mean to say, in these situations, people ask these questions that, Nipun, is there some sort of role reversal which has happened in this lifetime with the existing relationship I have with my children, with my spouse, with my siblings and all. So friends, I try to decode that via studying different texts. This could be the very renowned classical text of Vedic astrology, which could be Hora Shastra, this could be Garuda Puran, this could be Bhavishya Malika, and somehow I was able to establish a connection. So friends, in rest of the video, we will try to establish a connection between all these kind of relationship and the karmic residue which is coming in from the past. So again friends, it's not like something which I'm just talking from my intuition or I'm just creating a story. It is all in sync with the tried and tested astrological text. So okay friends, now in rest of the video, in the narration part, we will try to establish the same connection of your existing relationship and where is it coming from the past. Every person who enters your life, the child who challenges you, the partner who triggers you, the friend who saves you, is a soul holding a receipt. In the high courts of the Akashic records, there are no coincidences, only Rinanubandhana, the invisible thread of debt that pulls us across lifetimes. Vedic Jyotiṣa is the eye of wisdom that allows us to see behind the mask. When you look at your chart, you aren't just looking at planets, you are looking at a map of previous exit and current entrances. You are seeing where you left the conversation unfinished. So friends, before you dive into your karmic ledger, which I will explain it to you, remember these 3 truths. First of all, karma is not punishment, it is symmetry. If the chart shows a debt, do not view it with fear. The universe is not punishing you, it is simply trying to return you to a state of balance. Paying a karmic debt is a form of worship. Second, the rules are temporary, the soul is eternal. In the Upanishad, we learn that the soul is like an actor. In the last life, they were the king and you were the servant. Today, they are the child and you are the parent. Do not get attached to the mask, love the actor behind it. And third, knowledge is the great purifier. Lord Krishna says in the Gita that the fire of knowledge reduces all karma to ashes. By identifying a past life bond through Jyotish, you bring it from the unconscious to the conscious. The moment you realize why a relationship is difficult, half the debt is already paid. So friends, a final thought, use this guide not to judge your loved ones, but to forgive them. Forgiveness is the only way to tear up the contract so you don't have to meet in the same office in the next life. Let your chart be the light that turns a burden into a blessing. Friends, I'm sure that if you are connected in my platform, if you have checked my website, my sister, she is a healer, and a lot of the time when I get the Ho'oponopo session from her, it is all about asking for the forgiveness from the universe. If in any way, either you have done something wrong unconsciously or like subconsciously, you have given some wrong commands which are now creating a obstruction in your life, so you can make peace with it. So okay friends, now after this, let's get into the combination, astrological combination. And actually I feel very motivated to talk on this topic today because it's a new moon. So, and it's not like just a regular new moon, with moon being in the influence of so many planets. So somehow there is a lot of spiritual force which I am experiencing at a time when I'm recording this. So okay friends, let's first try to decode the planetary combination, different kind of debts involving your real life relationship, and then I will try to conclude this with the upayas, the remedies which you can perform. So okay friends, the cosmic ledger, decoding past life bonds in your chart. So friends, in the Brihad Aranik Upanishad, it is said, as a man acts, so does he become. According to his past deeds, he is born again. In Jyotiṣa, our birth chart is not just a map of the future, it is a karmic balance sheet. The people currently in your life, your children, your rivals, your spouse, are actors playing different roles than they did in the last play. So the very first, friends, I'm sure you would have guessed it right. It's the D60 Ṣaṣṭiāṁśa chart, because D60 or the Ṣaṣṭiāṁśa chart can be viewed as the ultimate past life mirror. While the D1 or the birth chart shows the fruit, the D60 shows the seed. Maharishi Prashara gave the D60 more weight than even the D1 or the D9 for the past life analysis. Now comes the question, how to identify the nature of the connection? So friends, that's very simple. Every planet in the D60 falls into a specific deity or amsha. Check the deity of the Lord of a specific house. For example, if you will find that in the Deva Vishnu Amsha, like if your fifth lord, which tells about the children, or the seventh lord, which talks about the characteristics of the spouse, is in a Devic, like godly Ṣaṣṭiāṁśa, that soul was a benefactor or a pious companion who has returned to help you. But let's say, for example, if it is in the Ghora or the Rakshas Amsha, like in the demonic Amsha, if the Lord is in a fierce Amsha, the relationship is a Shatru Rin, enemy debt. This person has returned to reclaim what was taken from them, often through emotional or financial drain. Now friends, let's dive deeper into this role reversal combination theory. See, using the principle of Bhavad Bhavam and the house displacement, we can see how roles shift across incarnations. For example, the child who was your teacher, like for example the 5th and the 9th house link. So the typical yoga which I have seen in my research, for example, the 9th lord like ninth house and its lord, which will give information regarding the teacher, father, influence in your life. So if the ninth lord of the D1 chart placed in the fifth house of the D7, Ṣaṣṭiāṁśa, okay, the spiritual logic to this is you failed to fully absorb a lesson from a master in a past life. That soul has now taken birth as your child. You are forced to listen to them because of your parental love. They aren't just your progeny, they are your karmic guide. Now, let's take up another example. For example, the spouse who was your boss or ruler, like the typical 7th house and the 10th house link. So the yoga, for example, is the 10th lord in your chart, like the career and the authority lord, placed in the 7th house, like the house of the marriage, or vice versa. So the spiritual logic to this is the autobiography of a yogi, if you have read that book, teaches that unfulfilled desires for power create strong bonds. If you were a subordinate to a soul in a past life and the power dynamic was left unbalanced, you meet again in a marriage. The boss energy often manifests as a spouse who is controlling or highly disciplined, settling the account of authority. Like let's take up the example of the banker parent. So for example, the yoga, like if you will see that the second lord, the lord of the wealth, is in the 12th house of the loss and the expenditure, or the 12th lord in the second. So the spiritual logic to see this combination is, as per the Garuda Puran, a person who dies with unpaid debts is often reborn into the creditor's family. If a parent is constantly spending money on a troubled child, or a child is supporting a parent's heavy debt, it is a literal transfer of wealth that was stolen or borrowed in a previous life. Friends, we also have to see, like because we cannot overlook the energy and the contribution of the different Gemini Karakas. For example, the Atma Karaka and the Dara Karaka connection. So in Gemini Jyotish, the interaction between these two Chara Karaka planets is the soul signature of a relationship. The mirror effect, for example, if your Atma Karak, your soul, is the same planet as someone else's Dara Karak, like their spouse's planet, you are soul twins. You have likely been spouses in multiple lives, alternating who plays the husband and who plays the wife. Okay, let me repeat. The mirror effect. If your Atma Karaka, the planet with the highest degree in your chart, is the same planet as someone else's Dara Karak, like in that person's chart, that planet is of the lowest degree. So that in itself makes you soul twins, okay? You have likely been spouses in multiple lives, alternating who plays the husband and who plays the wife. The Ketu touch. So Ketu is the tail of the past. Any planet conjunct Ketu in your chart represents a person you have already finished most of your karma with. These relationships feel instant but can also feel detached. So friends, and some of the practical checklist for the spiritual enthusiast, right? To analyze a relationship's past life root, look for these 3 red flags of karma. So the very first is retrograde planet. If your 7th lord is retrograde, you are meeting a spouse to redo a lesson you failed in the last life. About the Rahu Ketu axis, friends, because Rahu Ketu are the planets of the destiny. If a person's Lagna Lord falls on your Rahu Ketu axis, the attraction is compulsive. You cannot leave them until the rin or the debt is zeroed out. The 8th house link. If someone's planets fall in your 8th house, they have the power to trigger your transformation. They were likely present during your past life death or a major crisis. So friends, the closing thought on this from the Bhavishya Malika is, the souls gathering now at the end of the Kali Yuga are those with the deepest accounts to settle. Do not look at your partner or child as a person, but as a soul holding a receipt for a debt. pay it with love, and the bond is liberated. And also friends, like when we talk about the remedies, right, like what remedy you can perform, because astrology and any spiritual guidance is not complete without the upayas, without the remedies. So now we will move from the diagnosis of the chart to the prescription, the upayas. So in the Bhavishya Malika and the Garuda Puran, it is emphasized that while we cannot always delete the debt, we can certainly change the currency in which we pay it, switching from suffering to conscious service. So this is the section on the karmic neutralization. So friends, the alchemy of the debt, like upayas for the past life bond. So in the Vedic Jyotish, an upaya is not just a remedy. It is a conscious act of rebalancing the cosmic scales. When you identify a difficult Rinanubandhana, karmic bond, you use these remedies to settle the account gracefully. Friends, I couldn't tell you how many times I have like seen that. One of the astrologer I used to go when I was like still struggling in my early college days. So he recommended someone in front of me because that person had Ketu in the 5th house, and he recommended to his parents that okay, put his admission in one course where he did not intend to study. Just get or let your money get wasted in this course, because Ketu will honor and Ketu will bring some sort of break, or it will cut or it will waste your spending on one course or one education. So much better do it for something which you are not very much inclined. You will honor the energy and it will save your precious time, because planet will ask for its sacrifice. Like I have also seen that in some of the cases where like you will see that people who are very poor working as the maid and the servers and the servants in the rich wealthy houses, so they have many children, and the rich people, they are like have issues of the infertility, they are going for different treatments. In those kind of cases, it has been advised, like, you know, when you are pregnant, so have that maid of yours around you, her aura, her energy around you. Like rather when your child is born, put in the lap of them, so that they will give that aura, that energy transfer to your child. So okay friends, now coming back to this discussion. So like the way I mentioned that the alchemy of the debt is, or the upayas for the past life bond is, this is not just a remedy, it is a conscious act of rebalancing the cosmic scales. When you identify a difficult Rinanubandhana, karmic bond, you use these remedies to settle the account gracefully. So the very first is the debt of the Shatru Rana, enemy. This could be in a form of a son, in a form of a relative. So the typical indicator is, for example, the 6th lord in the 2nd house, 4th house, or the 5th house, because we know that 2nd house is our family, 4th house is again people who are close to us, our mother, people in our circle of influence, and 5th house is the house of our progeny. So the spiritual root is, you took something, this could be peace, this could be money or dignity, from this soul in the past. And what could be the upaya you can do in this life? So we generally recommend the Gupta Dan, like anonymous charity, like perform acts of service for strangers without seeking recognition. If the conflict is with a child, sponsor the education of an orphan. By helping a soul you don't know, you balance the hidden debt you owe the soul you do know. Now friends, the debt of the Guru Aparadh, the teacher child. So the typical indicator of that is the 9th lord in the 5th house, like the child and the teacher link. The spiritual root is, you disrespected or ignored wisdom in a past life. The upayas for that is, obviously friends, satsang and the scriptural feeding. Read the Srimad Bhagavatam or like books like Autobiography of a Yogi to your child or family. Treat the difficult child's words with the gravity of a lecture. When you start learning from them, the karmic pressure to teach you a lesson through rebellion often vanishes. Friends, the debt of the karmic spouse, like the power struggle in the marriage, in the relationship, the typical indication of that could be 7th Lord conjunct Saturn, Rahu, or in the 10th house. So the spiritual root of this is misuse of authority or betrayal of trust. The upayas, so Ardhanarishwar sadhana, worship the union of Shiva and Shakti. This balances the masculine authority and the feminine receptivity energies within you. The practical act is offer the white flowers or milk at a temple together. This cools the heat of the 10th house boss energy and invites the 7th house partner energy. Friends, the Pitraran, the ancestral parental debt, it is very important, friends. I always say, much before than the gods, it's the Pitris, it's the ancestor who come to your rescue first. There are like certain problems for which you need the blessing, you need the grace, you need the protection of your ancestors more than the devatas, the gods. So the Pitraran, the ancestral or the parental debt. So friends, the indicator of that is sun or moon in the 8th house or the 12th house or conjunct Rahu or Ketu. The spiritual root is unfinished duties towards your lineage. The upayas, tarpan and feeding the birds. Like according to the Garuda Puran, souls often return as birds or animals to seek sustenance from their kin. Feeding crows associated with Saturn and ancestors, or cows associated with Venus and the lineage every Saturday, Monday helps dissolve the heavy energy of parental debt. And friends, the universal master remedy is, if the chart is too complex to decode, the Upanishad and the Hora Shastra agree on one fire that burns all the dross, which is Shama Prarthana, the prayer of forgiveness. I will very soon record a session with my sister on the Ho'oponopono healing session, and then I will upload that on the channel so that you can see that the power of asking for forgiveness from the universe. Every night, friends, so yeah, Shama Prarthana, the prayer of forgiveness, every night before sleep, visualize the person you have a difficult bond with. Internally say, if I have wronged you in any life, knowingly or unknowingly, I ask for your forgiveness. If you have wronged me, I release you and forgive you. The debt is settled, we are both free. I'll repeat. Shama Prarthana, the prayer of forgiveness. Every night before sleep, visualize the person you have a difficult bond with. Internally say, if I have wronged you in any life, knowingly or unknowingly, I ask for your forgiveness. If you have wronged me, I release you and forgive you. The debt is settled. We are both free. So friends, obviously check the chart to find the who, understand the deity to find the why, perform the upaya to find the freedom. Okay friends, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. Like the way I always say, this is a learning platform. We all learn from each other. So wheresoever you agree with the explanation, that's fine. But even if you have something more to add, to contradict, please write that in the comment section so that it will give me more inputs for the future work on my channel. So friends, for further more updates and notification on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. Dhanyavad.